Picture this. You're standing at a three-way intersection in the dead of night. To your left, a narrow path lit only by the flicker of fear, every step echoing with the dread of scarcity, of missed opportunities, of a future forever chained to paychecks. To your right, a highway glowing with possibility, wide lanes paved by opportunity, abundance, and the freedom to choose your own journey. And straight ahead, a wall of schoolbooks, diplomas, and commendations, proof that you did everything right, yet somehow you still feel stuck. Which way would you go? We've all been told the story. Go to school, graduate with honors, land a stable job, climb the corporate ladder, and, one day, retire comfortably. But what if that story is only half the truth? What if the very roadmap we've followed since childhood leaves us running in circles, trapped between our bills and our dreams? Welcome to Wise Money, where we challenge the myths about wealth so you can build real freedom. Today I'm sharing a story more transformative than any formula, more eye-opening than any financial chart. The real-life tale of a young boy with two fathers, one who preached fear and debt, the other who held the secret to lasting wealth. Two fathers, two mindsets, and one boy caught in the crossfire. Over the next 10 chapters, we'll walk through 6 life-changing lessons. Why the rich don't work for money. Why financial literacy eclipses any degree. How to mind your own business. How to use taxes and corporations to your advantage. How to invent money out of thin air. Why you should work to learn, not just to earn. Along the way, you'll hear vivid childhood anecdotes, modern case studies, and complete interactive exercises designed to ignite your transformation. But first, pause this video and grab a pen and paper. Write down your deepest money fear. What keeps you up at night? Your greatest financial dream. What would you do if money were no object? Take a full minute. This is where your journey truly begins. Pause 30 seconds. Done? Hold on to that fear and that dream, because we're about to challenge everything you thought you knew about money. Take a deep breath, tighten your grip on that pen, and let's step off the beaten path into a new financial reality. Your journey to true wealth starts now. Robert's early life and poverty conditioning. Long before any grand lesson about money, 9-year-old Robert Kiyosaki was simply a curious kid exploring his family's modest Hawaiian home. His poor dad, a PhD-holding government employee, insisted that good grades and job security were the only path to success. Every evening, over steaming plates of rice and teriyaki, the conversation circled back to saving pennies and cutting expenses. Yet despite a steady paycheck and a neatly pressed suit each morning, poor Dad was buried under a mountain of bills. Imagine sitting at that dinner table, the scent of home-cooked rice in the air, and hearing your father say, "Son, focus on school, get a good job, then save for retirement." You nod obediently, but inside a question stirs. Why, if school is the answer, does he still worry about the electric bill? One afternoon, Robert found his dad hunched over the kitchen table, surrounded by envelopes labeled rent, utilities, and groceries. The low hum of the ceiling fan did nothing to cool the tension. He watched as poor Dad clipped coupons with surgical precision, each snip echoing like a ticking clock. Grab your pen again and write down 2 money messages you grew up hearing at home. Be honest, these beliefs are the foundation we'll transform. Introduction to Rich Dad. Next door lived Mike, Robert's best friend, and his father, known simply as Rich Dad. Unlike poor Dad's neat suit and solemn lectures, Rich Dad wore faded work shirts and greeted Robert with a booming laugh. One afternoon, Robert crept into Rich Dad's workshop, drawn by the clink of coins and the smell of leather-bound ledgers. Robert asked quietly, "Why do you sound so happy? Aren't you worried about money?" Rich Dad smiled. "Money? It's just a tool, son. Used correctly, it can build your dreams." In that simple exchange, Robert glimpsed a world where money wasn't something to fear, but something to master. Rich Dad showed him piles of receipts, property deeds, and stacks of cash. He spoke of buying rundown buildings, negotiating deals, and letting compounding work its magic. Each word felt like a window opening in Robert's mind. Think of someone in your life who treats money as a tool, not a trap. Write their name and the key lesson you can learn from them. Setting the learning contract. Before we dive into the 6 transformative lessons, let's make a pact. This journey demands more than passive listening. It requires your active participation. You'll face stories that challenge your beliefs, exercises that push your comfort zone, and questions that force you to confront your deepest money fears. Here's your commitment. Show up with an open mind. Complete each exercise honestly. Revisit your notes regularly. Grab your pen once more and write a single sentence. I am committed to mastering my money mindset. Place it somewhere you'll see every day. Congratulations, you've just signed your own learning contract. Everything you learn from here on belongs to you, and only you can turn it into action. Chapter 2. The rich don't work for money. Imagine 9-year-olds Robert and Mike, faces lit by the glow of counterfeit lead nickels, hearts racing as they slide a fake coin across the counter. When the scheme fails, Rich Dad offers them 10 cents an hour to stock shelves. After a week of sweat and resentment, they demand more pay and hear, "Do you want more money or do you want to learn?" That moment unravels the illusion that harder work equals wealth. They witness office workers earning 6-figure salaries, only to hand those checks right back to taxes, mortgages, and car payments. The true rat race emerges, trading life for a paycheck you never quite keep. Real freedom begins when you stop chasing dollars and start studying the game, understanding cash flow, spotting opportunities, and building assets that pay you long after you clock out. Chapter 3. Why teach financial literacy? Robert could solve complex math problems yet stared blankly at his first balance sheet. Rich Dad drew 2 columns, assets, liabilities, and transformed numbers into narrative. Rental properties, dividend stocks, small businesses, assets that deposited cash monthly, mortgages, car loans, credit cards, liabilities that drained it away. Suddenly, Robert saw classmates with 6-figure incomes drowning in debt. The school curriculum had failed to teach the language of money. Learning this language became his liberation. Numbers on a page turned into a roadmap. Track what flows in and out, optimize cash-generating assets, and plug the leaks. Financial literacy isn't optional. It's the foundation that separates paycheck survival from wealth creation. Chapter 4. Mind your own business. At 12, Robert's lollipop stand taught him more about marketing than any textbook. Later, he branded and flipped plastic shark toys, learning negotiation, branding, and customer psychology. Each venture cemented one truth: your job funds your life, but your business builds your legacy. By treating every side hustle as a mini laboratory, Robert honed skills, pricing strategy, demand creation, scalability, that would later underpin multi-million-dollar deals. Shifting focus from employee to entrepreneur rewires your mind. It invites you to see problems as profit engines and time as an asset, not a commodity to sell at fixed rates. Chapter 5. Taxes and Corporations. Rich Dad introduced taxes not as a burden but as a blueprint for leverage. He showed how corporations act like legal armors, earning income, writing off expenses, and sheltering profits. Individuals get taxed first, corporations second. By mastering entity selection, LLCS, corp partnership, and strategic deductions, depreciation on real estate, business-related travel, home office expenses, Robert discovered a secret highway to compound wealth. What feels like tax season to most becomes opportunity season to the financially literate, a time to optimize and reinvest. Understanding these structures turns the IRS from adversary to ally in your wealth journey. Chapter 6. The Rich Invent Money. Opportunities are not stumbled upon. They're invented through creativity and financial IQ. Rich Dad taught Robert to scour overlooked markets, failing laundromats, distressed small businesses, niche products, and engineer deals using other people's money and sweat. He once acquired a rundown laundromat with minimal capital, then applied simple upgrades and local marketing to transform it into a reliable cash flow machine. Every success began as a slender idea, nurtured by boldness and analytical rigor. Inventing money means recognizing value where others see risk, structuring partnerships that align incentives, and believing that scarcity is a mindset, not reality. Chapter 7. Work to learn, don't work for money. Robert bypassed high-pay offers to join a struggling sales team, all for the chance to master persuasion. He recorded pitches, dissected rejection, and celebrated incremental wins. Each no built resilience, every yes cemented confidence. By viewing jobs as skill-building assignments rather than mere paychecks, he acquired high ROI abilities, salesmanship, leadership, negotiation, that would repay him exponentially. Embracing discomfort as the classroom of growth, Robert redefined success, not by salary, but by the skills he harvested. Chapter 8. Confronting inner enemies. Fear, cynicism, laziness, and arrogance lurk in every financial journey. Robert learned to name them, Mr. Fear, Ms. Doubt, and craft counterplans, quantify risks, gather evidence to quell cynicism, institutionalize small daily habits to overcome laziness, and seek candid feedback to temper arrogance. By shining a light on these silent saboteurs, he turned psychological obstacles into manageable challenges. Victory over external markets begins with mastery of your internal landscape. Chapter 9. Action plan and next steps. Integration is where transformation crystallizes. Robert wove weekly financial reviews, monthly asset goals, quarterly deal experiments, and annual vision retreats into his calendar. He surrounded himself with mentors and peers who held him accountable and did the same for them. He kept a living roadmap, updating it with new insights and course-correcting when needed. Progress wasn't measured by perfection, but by consistent movement toward predefined milestones. This systematic approach turbocharged his growth and turned lofty ideas into tangible results. Chapter 10. Epilogue and Reflection. From the crossroads of fear and hope to mastering balance sheets, building assets, leveraging corporations, inventing deals, learning relentlessly, and conquering inner critics, you've traced Robert's journey. Now it's your story. Reflect on the chapter that resonated most, rediscover your initial money memory, and commit to one bold next step. Wealth is not a finish line, but an evolving horizon. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and let financial freedom become your lifelong adventure. You've walked every step of the journey, from standing at that crossroads of fear and possibility to mastering the mechanics of money, building assets, leveraging corporations, and confronting the doubts that hold most people back. You now possess the mindset and tools that Robert Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad, and that the world's wealthiest generations have applied for centuries. But knowledge alone isn't enough. True transformation comes when you take bold action. So here's your final challenge. Choose one lesson to master first. Revisit the chapter that spoke to you most, whether it's reading your first balance sheet, launching a microventure, or setting up your corporate shield. And commit to one concrete step today. Create your accountability plan. Find a partner, a mentor, or a community. Share your goal, set a deadline, and schedule a check-in. Momentum is built together. Keep the momentum alive. Block time each week for your financial education, review your numbers, research new opportunities, practice your skills. Growth compounds just like your money. Remember, the path to financial freedom isn't a straight line. There will be setbacks, surprises, and new lessons around every corner. But with the toolkit you've built, financial literacy, entrepreneurial grit, tax strategies, deal-making creativity, and emotional resilience, you're ready for anything. If this journey has ignited something in you, subscribe to Wise Money for more in-depth guides, case studies, and behind-the-scenes strategies from today's leading wealth builders. Hit the like button if you found value here and share your biggest breakthrough in the comments. Your story could spark someone else's transformation. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now it's time to turn these insights into impact. Your wealth journey starts and continues right now. Let's walk this path together.